Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 premium SPG that we know and love as Fifi La Pew Pew, but you might know as a leFhy or a leaf blower. This one's on the north spawn of Pilsen, and it's under the command of Targy. Well, due to a fault in the client, yes, I'm afraid Wargaming screwed up with their latest version of the game. We don't get any tracks, but we do get engine noises. We can either get one or the other, and as most people find it a little bit difficult to actually understand what's going on in a battle, if they don't hear any engine noises, we've decided to put those in, and we've lost the tracks. Yep, you don't get any moving tracks. Now, Targy's going to a rather unusual firing position, which is over near the plateau, not away from the normal firing position, which is normally behind him. And oh, look at this bishop. This idiot in the bishop who decides, I want that position for myself. And, well, he's just being a total... Well, I could say the word, but I'm not going to say it because obviously we like to make this a friendly, a family-friendly channel. So, yes, I think he's just being an idiot. He's one sandwich short of a picnic and not the sharpest tool in the head. Those are two very British sayings that I think most people understand. Round out in the IOI, land short, but I think he'll correct that and get the next round on target. Rounds out. That's a direct hit. Now, I doubt the OI stayed in that position because once you're under fire, you tend to move. Yes, he went. Okay, well, the 105mm light field howitzer will do 410 alpha with HE rounds, and it will penetrate 53mm of armor if it can get a direct hit, and that's with the HE. With the heat rounds, it'll actually penetrate through 104mm of armor, but it'll only do 350 alpha, and with the armor piercing, it's 64mm, so not so much. But again, it's only 350. And the problem with the armor piercing and the heat rounds is you have to get a direct hit in order for them to work. And the heat ammo does cost a little more expensive than HE and armor piercing. But you can see Targy's elected to have quite a few rounds of the armor piercing stroke heat. Well, that KV1's taking a bit of a plastering, and that's a nice hit for 130. Rounds out. Oh, another big hit for 62, but there's the kill shot. The P43 managed to wait until the hit points dropped to a sufficient level, and then he got a kill shot in. Now, at the moment, Targy's having difficulty firing over that power plant, so he's going to have to move. Of course, the Pilsen factory is where all the Skoda tanks were built. That included the Hetzer, as well as the Panzer 38T. Czechoslovakia had a thriving arms industry before the war started, and that's one of the reasons why Hitler actually wanted to capture Czechoslovakia. He was after their arms industry. He knew full well that they could build really good tanks, and he wanted them. Now that OI's managed to get around the corner, and now we can see a T-3485 just about to come out through that door. The OI's gone. Now, I think most of the tanks that are on the other side of the power plant, we can't hit them because we've got to lob the shell up over the top of the power plant and down onto them on the other side. In fact, it's a rather large force of enemy tanks coming in this direction, and the bishop who was annoying us earlier is actually driven much closer to the enemy. In fact, I don't think he'll survive if he gets spotted. That round was a direct hit. I think that one went from the other Fifi on our team. There's 3 Artys on either team. Our team has got the bishop and 2 Fifis, and the enemy team has got a gorilla and 2 Fifis. And okay, the enemy team's 2 tanks ahead of us at the moment, which is not good. We're still lobbing rounds in that direction. Just narrowly missed the KV1 there. It's very difficult to, because he's hiding behind the door. There is a 2-meter splash radius to these shells, and that's what I think Targy's trying to do. He's trying to splash that KV1. Nope. He hasn't got a whole lot of ammo left, so he needs to be careful And the KV-1, or was it the KV-1? Yes, it was the KV-1, just killed the bishop. So it looks like I was right about that bishop. He was getting way too close. Okay, so we're pulling back because we're 2 tanks down on the enemy. The enemy have got the positional advantage. They've got the west side of the map. We've got no RT to the north of that area, so the enemy might try to go over there. Oh, lovely shot there. The Chi Nu took a hit for 254, and I suspect that penetrated his armor. Oh, we fired at a wreck there. The Stug by Aslains took a hit just before from our Fifi, our teammate Fifi, and he got the kill. So it looks like we've destroyed their thrust on the west side of the map. And now Targy's got 1 kill, but there's still 5 enemies out there. The scores are even. So thanks to the Arty, there's been an evening of the scores, and both sides have an equal chance of winning this one. In fact, I'd say now that the advantage is with us, because we've got a Striv M4257 just to the east of their cap area, and a T3485M coming in from the north. So yes, it does look like we do have an advantage. The enemy team is consisting of 3 Arties, the ones I've mentioned before, a Chi 2 and an M10 RBFM. Now the M10 RBFM is quite a good tank destroyer. There's the Chi 2. Targy's trying to get a shot on him, but he's behind those silos. Can he get a shot? Now he can. Rounds out. Looks good. Yes! And a big hit, 403. That's a low roll penetration of the Chi 2. He's not going to be happy with that one. Going to be a very unhappy bunny altogether. Now he's down to a 1 shot. He's only got 40 hit points left. Unfortunately, we're down to, well, only 7 rounds of HE. We do have 25 rounds of armor piercing. Well, if you include the heater's armor piercing. Now, there's only 4 left on the enemy team. There's only 4 left on our team. We lost one of our teammates, the M4257. The M10's in sight. Rounds out. Oh, big hit again! And the M10 RBFM goes down, so now it's 3 Arty versus 2 Arty and a medium. And the medium is the T3485. I have the feeling Targy knows how to play this. If he goes down, oh, we've got 3 left on either side now. Yeah, if Targy goes down the coal pits and gets to the bottom, he can sneak up on the cap area from the east side. And I think he's actually going over to the railway line for security's sake, because he doesn't want to get spotted just in case the enemy does have an Arty over this side of the map. It's a possibility, but it's a very small possibility, because most Arty players tend to go to the west into that wooded area in K1 and K2, or J1 and J2, and so they go up the west side of the map, and they probably think we're in A1 and A2, in which case they'd be wrong. The leFH went, our teammate in the other leFH went to the usual firing position, which is in the bushes behind our cap. The T3485 went into the cap momentarily. Now that would have alerted the enemy Arty as to where he was. And he's sitting there for the moment. Not a good idea to just go back into the cap the way he does, because if he does, he will alert the enemy as to where he is. And now we need to get to that corner quickly so that we can assist the T34. If he's found the enemy, he has found the enemy. Unfortunately, the enemy found him, and the gorilla took him out. So now it's 2 Arty versus 3 Arty. And now, yes, it's up to Targy to use all his skills and that of the other teammate in the other Arty to win this battle. There is 5 Arty left in the game. As I've said so often in the past, as I keep pointing out, Arty is the most important players on the battlefield, mainly because we do conceal ourselves from the enemy because we're so vulnerable. But when it comes down to it in the end, if the Arty players are good, they can wipe out all the tanks, and that just leaves Arty versus Arty, and then it's down to the skill of the player involved to try and win the battle for their teammates. And that involves normally shotgunning the enemy at close range, or being very, very sneaky. Targy's creeping up on the enemy cap area. Now he's got a 390-meter view range, and there's two of the enemy already. We spotted the enemy Fifi. We're dialing in on him. It's our Fifi, our teammate who actually found him. Rounds out. Unfortunately, that one missed. Now we're trying to get a shot on the gorilla. He's got the 15-centimeter howitzer. We fire snap. That probably wasn't a good idea, but it did work. He did kill the gorilla. He got a direct hit and wiped him out. And I suspect that's another penetrating shot. And now it's 2 versus 2. And there goes the enemy Fifi. And he dies with a shotgun by our teammate leFH18B2. And that means now there's only one enemy left. And he also happens to be a Fifi. I keep referring to the term Fifi, but that came from one of our members who named it the Fifi because it was French, and Fifi is a French name, and it was also a very fast firing gun, so they called it the Fifi la Pew Pew. And we followed that ever since. Oh no, we've lost leFH18B2. And now it looks like the enemy Fifi is headed towards our cap. Rounds out. Now, if he did feel any of that hit, he was turning north, heading towards our cap area. If he felt the force of that explosion, then he would know that we're down in the south, and he'd try and come to reset and kill us, or hit us. But it looks to me like Targy's going to try capping and make the enemy come towards him, and he's going to hide in the most usual place, which is in fact behind this pile of rubble. Now I wouldn't stay there if I was you, because that is precisely where I would think that somebody was capping. So the best place to cap is actually away from that, and that's exactly what Targy's doing. In fact, he's now going to use the camp as a disguise, or as camo, and that's the good idea. Now I think Targy knows that the most used position is next to the rubble, and now we're capping. I would expect the enemy Arty to try firing at us. He's capping. He's probably hoping he can get a reset, and Targy's going to do the same to him and try and reset him. I wouldn't be surprised if an Arty shell lands behind us, hitting the usual spot. Targy's going to wait. He's going to fire, and if he does fire, he does fire. Now he needs to move. He does it. He's got 60 capture points. Arty shell, I heard a rumble. So we know the enemy's capping. And he did fire. We're firing another round at the other side of the cap. Well, we didn't get a reset, but you can see the Arty shells are arcing in, and he's trying to guess where we are. And he'll get one more shot, and then Targy will win the game. Targy's going to try. Rounds out. Well, he failed. He got a shot into the ground. One more. And he misses it again, but he's capped out, so it doesn't matter now. He's won the game for his team. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a third-class tanker for Targy in the 105 leFH18B2. He managed to get a radar device. That's the badge you win, or the medal you win, if you are undetected throughout the entire game and you successfully cap out. So it's a rare medal to get. Not many get awarded, but Arty players tend to get them quite a lot, because we're very, very sneaky. We try not to be detected. It's the bat symbol you can see over a tank. So we're undetected. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 5 exactly. And he got the invader medal as well for capping out and getting at least 80 capture points in the process. The Raider Invader combination is a great combination for Arty, because it means you've been supremely stealthy and you've helped win the battle for your team. 3,381 was the win rate from that battle. Let's have a look at the team score and see how he did. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the T-3485M, who got 2,011 hit points of damage, but unfortunately got wiped out by the enemy gorilla when he tried to get close to the wood. The second highest damage in the game went to the KV2 on the enemy team, who managed to get 1,686. And the third highest damage, yep, that's Targy with 1,438. When it came to kills, it was the T-3485M. He got 5. 3 kills went to the KV-2 and the KV-1 on the enemy team. Targy got 2 kills. Well, no, he didn't get 2. It was leFH18B2 that got 2 kills. Sorry, he got 2. And we can see that 2 members of the enemy team got 2 kills as well. One of their PPs and their griller. And it was the PP that this one who was left, Faust, who obviously didn't make a deal with the devil. He did survive the battle, but he wasn't an experienced Fifi player. You can see that he's only got 113 hit points and 1 kill. And of course, the kill was our Fifi, who was an experienced player, unfortunately for him. But he was lucky for Faust. But yes, he got a fair amount of damage and 2 kills. And of course, we can see that Targy only got the 2. When it came to base XP, I'm afraid it was our T-3485M who got the highest with 1,102. 834 went to leFH18B2, and then we got Targy with 696. He beat all of the other players on the enemy team on base XP. He fired 28 rounds in that game. In fact, he was firing heat rounds at the end of the game. And of course, that might have been a bit expensive. He might have been better off actually firing the armor piercing at that range. After all, what he was trying to do was cap out, and if he'd hit the guy from above with an armor piercing round, it more than likely would have penetrated, but it would have saved him credits in the process. He got 6 direct hits on the enemy and 3 penetrations. Now, let's have a quick look and see which ones he penetrated. Well, he did penetrate the griller. That shell went straight through him. He does have very thin armor and did get that one. Did he penetrate the... No, he didn't penetrate the M10. Did he penetrate the Chinu? Yes. 254 hit points off that one. That was that rather big hit that we saw at the time. And the other one he penetrated was the other Chi2, who actually, well, the Chi2, because there's only a Chinu and a Chi2. It's very confusing names, I know. But he got 403 hit points off that penetration. Yes, so that was a very nice round indeed. If we go back to the detail again, we can see he actually damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 2. So he just missed out on getting a Confederate out of that one. 19 hit points of damage assistance and 100 cap points from capping out. 36,209 credits in the battle. After resupply of ammunition, remember he did fire a few heat rounds right at the end. He ended up with 21,009 credits. If he fired armor piercing, I think he would have ended up with at least maybe 8,000 credits more. 1,044 XP, 4,176 for completing the mission, and 418 for this being a premium vehicle. Took away 5,638 experience points altogether. So it just goes to show how important Arty can be, but also how important it is to remain stealthy and not be seen by the enemy. Because if you're not seen by the enemy, you can creep up on their cap and start capping, and then it's just too late for the enemy Arty to try and come back and get a reset. In fact, that's the reason why Faust and the other Arty decided not to come back. It would have taken him too long, and by that time Targy would have capped out. Quick look at the armor on the 105 leFH18B2. As you can see, it's a heavy tank from the waist down, you could say, because that is what it is. It's a Char B1 that's been altered to carry an artillery piece. The gun shield up top is only 20mm, so that's the best place to aim, especially if you're on a light tank or a medium tank. Don't try to ram this thing. It's so heavy, you will come a cropper if you do. It weighs 34 tons when fully loaded, and any light tank weighing only 10 tons is going to be wiped out ramming against this. It is basically the Char B1 minus the 75mm gun at the front. You can see everything else. There's plenty of armor there, 60mm on the area in front of the driver. That's where the driver sits. There's the driver's viewport. That's where the 75mm gun was. It's only 45mm. The side, 60mm, both sides. In fact, the only easy places to hit are the cockpit and the engine deck area here, which are only 25mm. In fact, that area is 0mm, but that's because of the gun shield. 25mm. If you can land a shell in there, you'll wipe out the crew with one shot. But other than that, try to land a shell on top of the vehicle, and that should be able to take it out. Either that, or you could aim, if you're up close and personal and you're in a Fifi, just aim for the gun shield anyway, and the shell should go straight through, and you'll wipe them out with just one round, or should if you get an average penetration, or rather an average roll. Let's have a look at the modules. We can see from the modules that the engine is right at the back of the vehicle, and there is actually a tunnel for the driver to actually crawl out and walk down the tunnel towards the engine so he can fix things if necessary. The fuel tank is right next door to the engine, and the driver's at the back. We've got the gunner, the tank commander, and the loader all up in the open cockpit on top of the vehicle, with the ammo rack directly below them to feed the 105mm shells into the howitzer. I hope you enjoyed that replay. I certainly did. I always like seeing an Arty win by doing a stealth mission against the enemy and capping out when them being unable to get a reset. And I'm pretty sure the enemy Arty thought, well, if I got into the cap and I got a quick reset, he would win the game by capping out before Targy would. But yes, it didn't work out that way, because Targy's experienced enough not to know to sit at the back of the map next to the rubble, because that's where everybody shoots. And so well done to Targy. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm and gets us noticed by other people. And thank you for watching.